I remember like it was yesterday when he came home, and I said, Nelson, you became Muslim. So yeah, I remember exactly what I said to him. I said, you're going to hell, you know. I said that to him. So I'm like,
Assalamu alaikum people, welcome back to another episode of Streets to Deen. Assalamu alaikum ahey.
wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Introduce yourself inshallah.
My name is Abdurrahman. I'm Nigerian Revert. I was born in Italy like my brother Nuruddin. And I took my Shahada in 2015 August.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. How old are you?
Oh, sorry, I'm 21.
21, yeah. Cool. So tell us a bit about your childhood, inshallah. Growing up, what was that like?
Growing up, I grew up in a town called High Wycombe. Originally, I was born in Italy, and myself and my family, we moved to London around 2003. So we grew up a bit then, I think East London, Hackney, and then it was a rough neighbourhood. So my father decided to move to High Wycombe. So we moved to High Wycombe, and I've been here since.
Oh, mashallah. Describe yourself like during school days. What were you like? Was you in your books? Was you a naughty kid, joker?
In school days, I would say I was like the middleman. Yeah, I was the sort of person who would like get on with everybody.
Okay.
Like I could get on with the smart kids, the nerd type of kids, the kids who weren't taking these things serious. Like I could get on with the girls. I would just get on with anyone.
Okay.
So yeah, I was like the class clown as well.
Yeah.
I always used to make jokes here and there, like all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
That was like me throughout school. And I was like, I used to throughout school, I used to obviously have my own little business. I used to like sell sweets.
Oh, right. In school, yeah.
In school, yeah.
Okay. Entrepreneur type.
I was entrepreneur, yeah.
Mashallah. So that was the character that you had, like the joker, popular, everyone liked you. That was throughout primary and secondary school.
Yeah, you could say that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So outside of school, tell us a bit about, the stuff you used to get up to, kind of thing, like on a day-to-day activity.
Outside of school, I used to to be honest, outside of school, it was all about my football. Like there'll be days I'd wake up and I'd ask myself, like, how can I get better at football today? Like I used to play for Saturday, so I used to play for Sunday League. And yeah, I was literally outside of school. My life was literally football for a long period of time, from I think like 2010 up to 2014, 15. Like just before I concluded secondary school and moved on to college, I was all about football.
Okay.
Yeah, throughout like my adolescence, it was playing football outside of school.
Okay. And did you ever wanted to go pro, or you always knew it was a?
I actually got, I wouldn't say scouted, but there was I had a tournament one Sunday, and so like there were Arsenal scouts roaming here and there, and I had to like make sure I put in a very good performance. And so yeah, they picked me to come like train at the training ground. Alhamdulillah, I got accepted, and I entered the development training center, and then from there I moved on to the advanced training center. But Allah does more things sometimes, and so like it all went left, and then like I've left football now.
Yeah.
But Alhamdulillah, I'm happy where I am now.
Okay, cool. So you're saying you left football before you went to college?
Yeah, in fact, it was I was planning on going to a college and not study football there, but have it as a course. So I do my academics throughout I think it would have been throughout the weekdays, and I think training would be on Saturday and whatnot, and I have games as well. It's all a bit of a blur because it was a couple of years back, but I just remember I had my academics and football like this. Like I had to balance it out.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a course whereby like it was football based, but they also pushed you to pursue like maths. I think you continue with maths and English and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what actually led you to Islam?
What led me to Islam? I remember one day one day in 2015. I think around January time. Like after school, I remember when I came home, I think I showered up, I was in my bed, I was just scrolling through Facebook.
Yeah.
And then I saw a video, I saw a post, I saw a picture with my brother and my older brother Nuruddin, and a man with a massive beard next to him. And he said, "MashaAllah, brother Nelson took his shahada today at such and such mosque." And I was so shocked. I was thinking, SubhanAllah.
You had never spoke about it at home? Or?
We spoke about it, but it was very brief, like here and there. Like I didn't actually know he planned on taking his shahada. It was all spontaneous. It was all like out of the blue to me. And so I remember like it was yesterday when he came home, and I said, "Nelson, you became Muslim?" I was like, "Yeah." As me, I was like, I wouldn't say I was a hardcore Christian back then, but I kept the faith.
Okay.
Like I'd go to church as many Sundays as I could, and I was always praying before I go to bed. I was like the bare minimum Christian.
Yeah.
But you know how with bare minimum Christians, that's like the standard of practicing amongst them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have considered myself very practicing. So I remember when he came home, I said, "You became Muslim?" He was like, "Yeah." I remember exactly what I said to him. I said, "You're going to hell," you know. I said that to him. So yeah, that's how I found out. So that's how like
that was the first.
That was like the creak in the door to like Islam for me, basically. And then from there, I was always been like curious. I'll see him like because obviously he was a new Muslim at the time, so I'd rarely see him pray. Whenever I see him pray, I was always like almost intrigued. Not entirely, but I was intrigued a bit, but I wasn't like fully like let me like see what this is about. But I was very intrigued, and then there was a point in time where we left our house in High Wycombe and we moved to Bon End. And so you know how it is when you move to a new house, like getting things set up, like Wi-Fi and like the TV and everyday things around the house, like getting that all set up. It took like a long time, for like around 2 months. And so we never had Wi-Fi for like a whole month. Like getting it set up took a very long process. And at that time, my brother and sister used to work a lot, so I was always home alone because I literally just concluded secondary school. So I had that summer holidays before college started. So I was literally in my room day by day, just to myself. And so like I really had like a long time to think about my life, think about basically akhirah, because at the time I was still a Christian. I used to think about these things. And I also think about Islam a lot. And I would also ask myself, maybe this is the truth, this and that. Let me see what these let me see these books my brother's like reading, this and that. And let me just like give it a thought and just see how it is. And so I remember I was like every day I would like constantly like think about the religion. Like it was in my head. Like I never set out to learn, or I never set out to see what the religion was about.
Yeah.
It was always like lurking in my head, like Islam. And so like one day I gave in. I remember my brother, he was asleep, and I think he left his phone unlocked, and then I was just looking at the reminders he had saved, and I was listening to the reminders, and he woke up, and then he saw me listening to the reminder, and then it was all pretty much a blur from there. But I just remember like a couple of weeks later, it led to me. Actually, I remember he asked me a question. He asked me, "Do you see yourself becoming Muslim one day?" I said to him, 100% yes. I remember he was rejoicing. He was like proper happy. He was like, he had a big grin on his face. And then it was all big. It was all like a bit of a blur. But I remember a couple of weeks later, like I told him I was like ready to take my shahada now. So then he was on his way to work, and I was on my way to the masjid. So what happened was, we left our house and there was like a bench just near outside the house. So yeah, I took my shahada with him on the bench, and then we both got the bus towards Wycombe because we were in Bonnet at the time. And then he had to stop and go to work.
Yeah.
And I kept going towards the masjid. And then I remember when we stopped off, there was another brother going towards the masjid as well. And my brother said to me, "Can you take my brother to the masjid? He's gonna take shahada, and I have to go to work." And the guy was like, "Yeah, we'll go to the masjid and we'll take shahada."
Random brother, completely
random brother. After that day, I've never seen him again. It was the first time I've ever seen him. Yeah. So yeah, me and that random brother on the way to the masjid, and we were just talking a bit. It was like, and he was asking me the same questions you're asking me, and I was just like, basically explaining to him like I believe in the faith. Like I see how Islam is like the next religion after Christianity, because the previous two religions got corrupted a bit, so Islam was there to perfect it and to be basically like the Quran was to be a watcher over the two previous books, as Allah mentions in the Quran.
Two previous books,
yeah,
which would be
the Torah and the Bible of today, which a Christian says is the Injil, but it's really not. So yeah, we were talking about that, and I remember they took me to the masjid, and then I was sat in the masjid, and then they prayed salah, and then after that, the imam mentioned that there's a brother here who wants to take shahada today. I remember I got really scared. Like there was a brother, and I remember there was a brother in Green Shimak. He asked me, he said to me, "Bro, do you know what you're getting yourself into?" I was like, "Yeah, I know what I'm getting myself into." I said, "I know exactly what I'm getting myself into." He was like, "Okay, cool." Then he walked me over to the imam, and the imam sat me down. Alhamdulillah, I took my shahada.
And how long have you been Muslim for now?
It's 2021 May, so I've been Muslim for 5 years and just over 5 months, I think.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So, how did your family take it when you become Muslim?
My mother was, she thought like I ruined myself, essentially. And she would always say to me, "What have you done? This, that. I can't believe you became Muslim. You shouldn't, your brother's been feeding you stuff, you shouldn't be basically fed," essentially. And I remember, like, my dad didn't find out to a couple months later, because he wasn't living with us at the time. But yeah, my mum took it really hard. But I remember I was having a conversation with my dad, and my dad used to ask me about the whereabouts of my brother, and obviously I was finding it hard to like keep lying. So I told him, "Oh, he just came with some brothers from the local mosque, this, that," and he used to ask me like, "Oh, you shouldn't let him do that. You should like basically push him back to Christianity, this, that." And I wasn't Christian at the time, obviously I reverted, but I used to somewhat like push back a bit, and he would recognize it. And then like I could see him asking me like a couple messages later, "Are you Muslim?"
Yeah.
I was sort of like defending my brother a bit. Before I used to say, "Oh, is this, that." Yeah, I know, like he's a Muslim now, he shouldn't be, when I was Christian.
Okay, yeah.
But now when I was a Muslim, those are the sort of questions my dad would pose to me. He would always ask me, like what the whereabouts of my brother, what's he doing now, who is he hanging around with. I used to say, "He's hanging around with good brothers, he's hanging around this, he's at this place, he's studying, he's like keeping off the streets." I used to like defend him, and my dad sort of clocked on. And he asked me, "I'm a Muslim," my heart sank.
Yeah.
And I was like, "SubhanAllah, I have to tell him now." I was like, "Yeah, I'm a Muslim." And he was like, "You're no longer my son." I was like, "SubhanAllah." He literally typed there and he sent it. He said, You're no longer my son." I was thinking, wow. So yeah. But ever since, that's how it was 5 years ago. But me and my father like are very good now. Like he deems me as like very responsible now. Like, because back in the day, I remember he would always ask about my whereabouts and like if I'm keeping safe now. But now he thinks I'm responsible, so he no longer like asks me those questions, or he no longer like checks up on me, and he like trusts me to handle myself well and hang around with very good brothers. So yeah, my parents are okay with me being Muslim now. With my father, he doesn't like. He's okay with me being Muslim, but he doesn't want to hear it.
Okay.
Like I can't tell him, "Oh, I'm at the mosque." He doesn't want to hear it. Like sometimes when I'm typing, I type "Inshallah" at the end of a message, and I have to quickly delete it. Not because I don't believe like you should say that. Of course you should, but he just doesn't want to hear it. But he's okay with me being a Muslim now. So they took it bad at the start, but alhamdulillah, it's all good now.
It took time, but
yeah, it took time.
We got used to it. So, how has Islam changed your life?
That's a big question. Islam has it's really changed my life. Like it flipped my life 180 degrees. Because prior to Islam, I used to live for football, and then straight after Islam, I used to live for Allah, basically. And I remember like I used to like sort of plan my future endeavors, like who I'm gonna marry, where I'm gonna get married, around what age I'm gonna get married, where I'm gonna live, like adult sort of questions. I used to like sort of plan my life based on that. But then like after I reverted, obviously my life flipped 180. So I used to ask myself, SubhanAllah, I'm Muslim now. I have to base my life based on the religion. And I used to ask myself, "Oh, I'm gonna get married. how am I going to get married? This, that. And it used to give me cold feet a bit. But yeah, like Islam, like it encompassed every aspect of my life, because I find myself waking up and I can't do things anymore because of the religion. Or I couldn't hang around with such and such person because of the religion. It literally encompassed each aspect of my life, and it pushed me away from all of that, and it gave me something new. So it completely, it's like it flipped off a switch and it sort of reset me, and then it put me back on to like a different life completely. Whereas alhamdulillah, it's a life for the best now.
Yeah.
Because I find that in every aspect of my life, there's always like ni'am and khayr there because of the religion. But before, it was just like anxiety and stress.
Yeah.
Because obviously, but now with the religion, it's like I found myself more at peace with myself and more content with obviously the dunya. Like before, I used to like chase the dunya, have like a dunya based mindset.
Yeah.
But now it's based on akhirah and akhirah alone. Like I don't really focus on my dunya, and if I do focus on my dunya, I find that I focus on it for the sake of my akhirah, not for the sake of dunya alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like Islam has completely flipped me 100%.
So it's giving you a purpose. It's like
It gave me a purpose, yeah. It's like pushing me towards a purpose, and everything else is just getting left behind.
Yeah. So how would you say your relationship with Allah is at the moment?
At the moment, I've sort of gone downhill because I've recently started work, so I'm not around the brothers no more. Like with my sunnah prayers, I'm not really keeping it up anymore as I used to. And with my Quran, I'm very deficient in my Quran now because of work. And like I work in construction, and like I work Monday to Friday. I get very tired after work, so I find myself not able to keep up with how I used to be before work.
Yeah.
But before work, I was very like my relationship with Allah was very strong.
Yeah.
And to this day, I go to an Arabic class every Saturday. It's called Badr Academy. It's based in Hayes. But ever since I started work, it's gone downhill a bit, like my attendance and whatnot, and how well I'm performing classes. But alhamdulillah, my relationship with Allah is very good compared to how I was as a Christian.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
I understand. So what advice would you give to anyone who doesn't know anything about Islam, or someone from the outside looking in?
My advice to them would have to be Tawheed. Because
describe Tawheed for
Tawheed. So Tawheed, for those who don't know, is Ifradullah bil ibadah, which means singling Allah out in worship, and Ifradullah bil asma'ihi, singling Allah out in His names. Ifradullah bi af'alihi, singling Allah out in His actions. And yeah, a Tawheed basically splits up into three categories, which is Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, Tawheed al-Asma'i wa-Sifat, which is singling Allah out in His in your worship, singling Allah out in His actions, and singling Allah out in His names and attributes. So it's strict monotheism essentially. And so this is the greatest advice I give to anyone, non-Muslims, because this was always the da'wah of the prophets. They would never move on to anything unless the Tawheed first was established. They were always called to one ilah, called to one God. And then when that was established, like for example, I believe the Prophet ﷺ sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal to Yemen, and he said, "You're going to a people who are from the people of the book, yani the Christians and the Jews. So make the first thing you call them to is La ilaha illallah. Then after that, the Salah. Then after that, Zakah, the 5 pillars of Islam." And so, yeah, my advice to non-Muslims, or basically anyone of the religion, will be a Tawheed, which is to single Allah out in everything that He needs to be singled out in. Because that's like, without Tawheed, everything crumbles. But with Tawheed, you'll be safe.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's going to be the same answer for both Muslims and non-Muslims, but my last question is going to be, what's your advice for any Muslim brothers and sisters that are living in these times and might find it hard to hold on to their Deen?
My advice would be good companionship.
Okay.
In this day and age, because the Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-mar'u ala dini khalili, falyanzur ahadukum man yukhalil." The man is upon the religion of his friends, so let each and every one of you look to whom he befriends. So we find in this day and age, you never find anyone upon haram except that he has friends who are also doing the haram. And you never find anyone upon khair except that he has friends who are doing the same khair. And in this day and age, I really think it's important to have good friends, because there's so much going on in this world that you need something there for you to always fall back on. So even if you slip, no matter how much you slip, you're always surrounded by khair, so it's easy for you to fall back into khair. So yeah, that would be my advice, to have good companionship, because I've seen like many brothers fall off the religion because they fall off good friends, basically, because they lose good friends. And I've noticed when it's not necessarily to have good friends, but to be surrounded by good things. So I've noticed when brothers fall off the religion a bit, it's because one, they lose their good friends, and two, they sort of like unfollow those Islamic accounts they used to follow, that they used to constantly watch, like reminder accounts. They stop listening to Quran, they stop listening to advices from friends, and whenever they meet up with the good friends who are good for the akhirah, then sort of like the conversation though, like that will start between them is like always brief. Okay. It's never in depth. They never surround themselves. It's almost as if they become acquaintances with those companions who are good for them in dunya and akhirah. And so I find that whenever someone slips, it's because they have bad company. So that's for me, that's my number one advice to anyone, is that always have good companionship.
Jazakallah, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate you for coming, man. Assalamu alaikum.